Good morning and welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. I'm Jody Pollock-Newsome and I'm your host. We have a great show lined up for you this morning. This morning we're going to talk to you about ag exports. We're going to talk about the opportunities for our state. We're going to talk about markets and recognize the Ag Exporter of the Year. Stay tuned. Good morning, and again, welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. Folks, I don't know about you, but it seems like summer is going by so fast, and it's once again, it's time to celebrate Ag Exporter of the Year. And we have a great show lined up, and I really get excited when we get to talk about the award, we get to meet the winning company, and we really get to highlight some of the positives that we have here in the state. You know, we all know economically times have been tough. A lot of folks are looking at things. Michigan's had some really hard economic times, and we don't always sit back and celebrate all the triumphs we have. So for me, the show where we recognize our Ag Exporter of the Year, we really get to celebrate. It gives you a great opportunity as consumers to learn more about Michigan agriculture and learn more about the amazing companies that we have here right in our state that are making a difference. My guests on the show this morning are certainly going to get you fired up and excited about those opportunities. My first guest is Jamie Schmidt-Go-Summers. Jamie is with the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, and we're going to talk overall about ag exports, and then we're going to focus on the Ag Exporter of the Year and really talk about what it takes and give you some idea a little bit more about that program. Then I also have with me this morning Al DeVore. He is with the winning company, which is Graceland. So we're going to talk a little bit with him, Graceland Fruit, what they do, how they got into exports, how things have changed in their company since the mid-90s to where they are today, what those exports mean to a company and what some of those opportunities are, and really how those exports have affected them here when we look at the in-state market and look at U.S. markets and market opportunities. And also with me this morning is Dan Arkema from Graceland Fruit, and we're going to talk about exports. He has been in the export arena for many years, so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things he's learned. We're going to talk about some of those markets, and we're going to talk a little bit about where he's just got back from and where he's headed off to. So folks, it's going to be a great opportunity to learn more about our state, learn more about agriculture, certainly learn a lot more about exports, and then I will be back with a great recipe for Graceland's red, white, and blue cookies. It's going to be a great show. Stay tuned, and we will be back with our first guest right after the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week.
It's time for the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week, brought to you by the Corn Marketing Program of Michigan.
Michigan's agriculture exports in 2009 totaled $1.5 billion in food and ag products. Michigan's top export markets are Canada, Japan, Mexico, South Korea, and Taiwan. Ag exports help boost farm prices and income while also supporting over 12,000 jobs both on the farm and off the farm in food processing, storage, and transportation. For more information, go to michigan.gov.
Corn touches your life every day. With over 600 items in the store that contain corn, it's America's renewable resource. There are amazing new products made from corn, like comforters, clothes, corn stoves, dinnerware, and of course, ethanol.
Corn, America's renewable resource, powering industry, feeding America, and fueling the future.
Thanks to Michigan's corn farmers, the future is bright for innovative products made from corn. To learn more about how corn touches your life, visit our website.
And welcome back. We are back with Jamie Schmidt-Go-Summers, International Marketing Manager, Michigan Department of Ag and Rural Development. That is a mouthful.
Yes,
welcome.
It is. Thank you, Jody. It's always a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you back, and it's so fun because, you know, I talked about it in the opening, but you guys have so much going and you're making such a positive difference.
Yeah, exports are really growing. We see, each year about 10% growth in Michigan food and ag exports. So certainly those numbers continue to grow, and the number of people employed because of exports here in the state is quite significant and continues to grow each year as well. And Governor Snyder has given us an initiative to double ag exports in 5 years, so we are working very hard to try to meet and accomplish that goal. And a lot of companies are really looking to diversify, and exports is an excellent way for them to do that. So we are moving that forward as fast as possible.
Oh yeah, when the governor says we need to do this.
Yes.
And I know you're working on a lot of activities to help. We're going to talk later about Graceland, but there's a lot of companies and everybody has to start somewhere.
Exactly. We offer a lot of different educational opportunities with export seminars. In fact, we have one coming up on June 28th in Grand Rapids, and that's going to focus on the Central American market, which has a lot of opportunities, especially with the free trade agreements that have been passed in those markets that allow a lot of our products to enter in duty-free or with very low duties. So we'll have a person from Central America in to talk about the opportunities there. We're also going to be bringing over 15 international buyers from countries all over the world, such as Russia, Asia, Mexico, Canada, Israel, Libya, into Michigan for Michigan food processors, companies, producers to meet with one-on-one. And that's going to be in Grand Rapids on July 24th. So a lot of opportunities for companies here and producers here in Michigan to be able to learn more about exports and export markets, as well as meet one-on-one with buyers. And they're both very cost-effective, low cost, $50 for the seminar, up $150 to meet with those international buyers. So we're definitely doing all we can to get our Michigan companies and producers in touch with these international markets and international buyers.
Well, and that's so important, and I know we're going to hear more later, especially as you're looking at Ag Exporter of the Year, looking at all those opportunities. I mean, we have lots of companies that are exporting, and you just need to work through the process and have the patience, because like you say, it certainly does pay off.
Yeah, it certainly does. A lot of companies are scared to look at exporting, but there's certainly, all different ways, and there's so many service providers out there that can help companies if they don't want to take on all of the additional paperwork and everything in-house. There's so many different organizations and service providers out there that can help companies really effectively export. And even someone as close as Canada, a lot of companies don't think of that necessarily as an export market, but it is, and there's a lot of opportunity there. We export about 60% of our food and ag products from Michigan go into Canada. So it's a very close neighbor and great market.
We want to keep them close, just like that.
Yes.
Send them that stuff over the border.
Yes.
Well, and Jamie, let's talk a little bit too about Ag Export of the Year Award. It hasn't been around that long, but it's really recognized some amazing companies.
It has. We have been doing this for probably about 5 years now, and each year it's another fantastic company that wins this award. Some of our previous winners have been Cherry Central, Zealand Farm Services, Walter's Gardens, Cooperative Elevator, so really covering a broad base of products from companies that are around the state. And this award is a self-nomination by the company. They submit an application, and we have a review panel that looks at those applications and then makes a recommendation to the director, Keith Cray, for approval. And then the director and the governor were pleased to award the 2011 Ag Exporter of the Year to Graceland Fruit this year.
Very exciting.
Yes.
And especially when we look at, some of the diversity of that ag, you mentioned some of those award winners. It's great to see that diversity and to know what those opportunities are for our companies.
Exactly. And what the review committee really looks at when they're selecting this company is a company that really has exports as part of their overall strategic plan for their company, where everyone from the CEO or president down to the people in the production facility are all supportive and part of moving exports forward for that company. So we're looking for those companies that really embrace it and feel that it's an important part of their business and their strategy.
Well, and Jamie, if there are folks out there that say, boy, I'm interested, we mentioned it's kind of scary.
Yep.
What do we do? How do we get started?
Certainly, get in touch with me. There's so many resources out there offered by, everyone from the Van Andel Global Trade Center in Grand Rapids to the Michigan State University's International Business Center to food export that we work very closely with out of Chicago. So there's so many resources out there that are available. There's funding available. There's export seminars and online training that's offered all the time. So certainly there's a wealth of help and information out there, so companies should certainly contact us and we can put them in touch with some of these other organizations as well.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that's so amazing as you get into this. And as much as you've done the show, I always learn more. But there are so many resources. And even when there's no money, there is some money to be able to help people do some things, you know, some packaging or some learning or whatever. I just think it's important to know you're not alone financially or with the skills of what you need to do.
Right, exactly. Even if it's, you know, finding a banker or a freight forwarder, there's programs that, you know, for certain eligible companies can receive reimbursement for some of their costs of, you know, to change the packaging on their label to meet a country's requirements. So if it's needing to have French or Spanish on it, that program can help reimburse those costs for that. So, you know, we're certainly helping companies in all those aspects. If they need help on, you know, where do I get a certificate of free sale or a phytosanitary certificate, we can help, you know, put them in contact with the right agency or the right person that can help issue those certificates, or, you know, the right bank or the right freight forwarder. So they're certainly not alone if they are, you know, willing to take on export as part of their business strategy.
Great. Well, Jamie, thank you.
Thank you.
We always appreciate it.
Yes.
And thank you so much for bringing Graceland fruit to us today. And we will keep up to date on what's going on with exports. Folks, certainly important to know when we look at the economy, we know agriculture is certainly important to our state, and exports play a major role in that economy as well. Stay tuned, and we will be right back, and we are going to talk to the Ag Exporter of the Year.
The Cherry Marketing Institute wants you to know about tart cherries. Cherry's red color comes from powerful antioxidants. Available year-round, it's easy to incorporate cherries into your daily diet. Visit choosecherries.com.
Michigan's 1,000 apple growers take pride in producing delicious apples from one generation to the next. From the Great Lakes come great flavors. Look for locally grown Michigan apples.
Have Jody speak at your next agricultural event. Go to jodylive.com.
Cool. Get him. And welcome back. We're back with Al DeVore, President, CEO, Graceland Fruit, Ag Exporter of the Year. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
It's great to have you here, and you can tell I get fired up over the exports and the opportunities, and so I'm going to have you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Graceland.
All right. Just a little bit of background. I came to Graceland as part of a turnaround and worked in the operational area of the Graceland Fruit Company. Saw a tremendous company, a lot of potential, and stayed on, and very pleased to have been able to do that. So.
Well, and it's certainly, when we think of Graceland, a long history here in Michigan. I'm going to have you tell us a little bit about the company.
Graceland's going to celebrate its 40th year next year, 2013. It was founded in 1973. It was founded as a cherry cooperative originally, so our heritage is very tied into the cherry industry in Northwest Michigan, which I think everybody knows is going to have a tough year this year.
Yeah.
So say a prayer for our cherry growers, and let's make sure that industry is strong and vibrant and comes back healthy next year. We've been around, we've evolved quite a bit. We got into drying fruit in about the 80s. And the reason why is, if you think of the cherry industry, the harvest would take place over about a 2-week period. You'd freeze the fruit, and then you could use it later for pie filling, but access to the nutrients in the cherry were really limited to those two avenues, and so in drying, you don't lose that nutritional benefit, and now you can have up to a 2-year shelf life, so you can come back and eat the cherries for 2 years and still get the benefit from them. So the drying process was developed by Graceland for cherries, and then evolved into cranberries and blueberries. Historically, if you think about it, the only fruits that were dried, and this is through antiquity, were raisins, figs, dates, because they're very, very high in natural sugar. A tart cherry or a cranberry or a blueberry doesn't have that natural sugar in it, so you need an infusion process because the sugar acts as a very natural preservative. It binds up the free moisture, and then you have the 2-year shelf life if you store it properly. And so that process was developed through a lot of hard work of my predecessors within the Graceland family, and we're very proud to take that heritage and start to market it on a